The day Earth was discovered changed everything for the Galactic Council. Their scanners picked up a small blue planet in a forgotten corner of the Milky Way. They sent 3 scout ships to take readings. What they found shocked them. "Send these readings again. There must be a mistake," said Chief Observer Zithklax, his 6 eyes blinking rapidly in disbelief. Junior Observer Melnar checked the instruments again. "The readings are correct, sir. This planet has extreme gravity, deadly radiation levels, wild temperature swings, and violent weather patterns, and it's mostly covered in a liquid that would burn through our skin." "Impossible. Nothing could live there," said Zithklax. "But the scanners showed life. Lots of it. Plants, animals, and even an intelligent species building cities and machines." "Classify it immediately," ordered Zithklax. The computer processed the data and displayed the result. Class 13 Death World. The entire command center went silent. No planet had ever received such a high danger rating before. Class 10 was considered the limit of survivability. Class 13 meant the planet itself was a weapon. "We must report this to the Council right away," said Zithklax. 3 days later, the highest members of the Galactic Council gathered in their grand meeting chamber on the peaceful world of Harmonia. Representatives from 312 species sat in rising tiers around a central platform where Zithklax nervously prepared to present his findings. "Honorable leaders," began Zithklax, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. "Our scouts have discovered a planet that defies all our understanding of life. The humans of Earth live in conditions that would kill any of us within minutes." He displayed the data on large screens. Gasps echoed through the chamber. "The gravity on this world is 2.7 times stronger than our standard. Their oxygen levels would cause most of our lungs to burn. Their sun bombards the planet with radiation. They have storms that can flatten entire forests. And yet these humans not only survive but seem completely unaware of how dangerous their world is." The council leader, Grand Arbiter Vox, leaned forward. "Show us these humans." The screens changed to show images captured by stealthy drones. Humans climbing mountains covered in ice. Humans diving into deep oceans. Humans running long distances under the hot sun. Humans living in deserts and in frozen wastelands. "How is this possible?" asked a council member. "Their bodies evolved to withstand these conditions," explained Zithklax. "Their bones are incredibly dense to support them against the gravity. Their skin can repair damage from their sun's radiation. Their lungs filter out toxins that would kill us. And most concerning of all, they can eat almost anything. They are extreme omnivores with powerful stomach acid that can break down substances that would poison any of us." The council watched in horrified fascination as the screen showed a human named Frank Wilson, chopping wood outside his cabin in Alaska. The temperature was well below freezing. Snow fell heavily. The human wore only a light jacket, breathing out steam as he swung an axe with enough force to split logs that would require machinery for most council species to cut. "This gets worse," continued Zithklax. "Their physical strength is extraordinary. The average human can lift objects weighing more than their children. Their endurance allows them to keep moving for days with little rest, and they can ignore pain that would incapacitate most sentient beings." The screens showed a woman named Linda Carter finishing a marathon, her body drenched in sweat but still moving after running 26.2 miles. "They're monsters," whispered one council member. "No," corrected Zithklax. "They're survivors, and they don't even realize how special they are. They think they're fragile. They have no idea that by our standards they're nearly indestructible." More images appeared. A construction worker named Carl Phelps, operating heavy machinery in scorching heat. A fisher named Mary Daniels battling rough seas to bring in her catch. Children playing in conditions that would require protective suits for council species. "There's more," said Zithklax hesitantly. "They're advancing rapidly. Their technology is primitive compared to ours, but they're developing faster than any species we've ever observed. At their current rate, they'll have interstellar travel within 50 years. Grand Arbiter Vox stood up, silencing the worried murmurs with a raised hand. "The implications are clear. If these humans leave their death world and discover how powerful, They are compared to other life forms, they could conquer the galaxy with ease. No other species could stand against their physical abilities. The Council voted unanimously. Earth would be quarantined immediately. No contact would be permitted. Observation posts would monitor the humans from a safe distance. Any Earth vessels that ventured too far from their planet would be quietly redirected back. "We must contain them," declared Vox, "for the safety of all galactic life." What the Council didn't realize was that their closest observation post, hidden behind Earth's moon, had already been spotted by an amateur astronomer named Betty Cooper. She had posted her discovery online, and scientists were already planning to investigate the strange object that didn't move like any natural satellite should. Earth wasn't as isolated as the Council believed. First contact wasn't coming in 50 years. It was coming next Tuesday. Tuesday came 4 years earlier than the Council expected. Captain Jane Porter stood on the bridge of the mining ship Blue Horizon. Her company had sent her to mine asteroids near Mars. Jane was a practical woman with short brown hair and eyes that missed nothing. 20 years in space had taught her to notice small details. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Rick Owens, her sensor operator. He was young and excited about his first deep space mission. Jane walked to his station and looked at the screen. "What am I seeing, Owens?" "It doesn't match any known asteroid pattern. It's moving too smoothly, almost like it's—" He hesitated. Controlled. "Are you suggesting an artificial object?" Jane asked, keeping her voice calm. "Yes, ma'am, and it's not one of ours." Jane thought carefully. If this was a foreign country's secret military satellite, she could cause an international incident, but her instincts told her this was something else. "Show me the exact location," she ordered. The screen changed to show a small object hiding in the shadow of a larger asteroid. It was using the asteroid's mass to hide from Earth's detection systems. Very clever. Send a standard greeting on all frequencies, Jane decided. Let's see who's out there. Rick's fingers moved across his console. Broadcasting now. On the hidden observation ship, junior observer Gral Thune was having the worst day of his career. The cloaking device had failed because they hadn't properly shielded it against solar radiation. The Council's engineers had never expected humans to venture this far from their planet so soon. "We've been detected," shouted his assistant. "The human vessel is sending a communication signal." "Ignore it," ordered Gral Thune. "Power up the engines. We need to leave immediately." "But sir, the Council protocols state—" "I know the protocols, but we can't risk contact. Start the engines now." The alien ship's engines came to life, but something was wrong. Warning lights flashed across their control panels. "The radiation from their sun has damaged our engine shielding," reported the engineer. "If we activate full power, we risk a containment breach." "We have no choice," said Gral Thune. "Maximum power." The ship lurched forward, emerging from behind the asteroid. As it did, a bright flash erupted from its rear section. On the blue horizon, everyone saw the flash. "Something just exploded on that ship," said Rick. Jane was already moving. "Alert the crew. Prepare for emergency rescue operations. That ship is in trouble." "But Captain, we don't know who they are," protested her first officer, Sam Baker. "Doesn't matter. Space law is clear. We help anyone in distress. Get the rescue team ready." Within minutes, the Blue Horizon pulled alongside the damaged alien vessel. Through the viewports, Jane could see shapes moving inside. They weren't human. "Well, I'll be damned," she whispered. "First contact is going to be a rescue mission." Her crew looked nervous but determined. Jane addressed them over the ship's comm system. "Listen up, everyone. What we're about to do will go down in history. There are non-human beings on that ship. They're in trouble, and we're going to help them. This is what humanity does. We help those in need, no matter who they are." The rescue team put on their spacesuits and prepared the docking tube. Scans showed the alien atmosphere was a mix of gases toxic to humans. They would have to wear their suits the entire time. Inside the alien ship, Gral Thune was panicking. Their atmosphere was venting into space. Emergency systems had failed, and now the humans were attempting to dock with their ship. "They're going to kill us all," he told his crew. "These Death World monsters will tear us apart." The docking tube connected with a solid thunk. The airlock cycled, and Jane Porter was the first human to step onto an alien ship. Through her helmet, she saw strange creatures with 6 limbs and large eyes. They were smaller than humans, with thin bodies that looked fragile. Using simple hand gestures, Jane tried to communicate that they were there to help. At first, the aliens backed away in terror. Then one of their crew collapsed as the failing life support systems affected them first. Jane didn't hesitate. She moved forward and gently picked up the fallen alien. It weighed less than a human child. The alien crew watched in shock as Jane carried their comrade toward the docking tube. "The rest of you come with us," she said, gesturing with her free hand. "Your ship is failing. You need to evacuate." Slowly, the aliens followed. Some had to be carried by Jane's crew. The Blue Horizon's medical bay wasn't designed for alien physiology, but the ship's doctor did her best to create a comfortable environment with the right atmospheric mix. Grail Thune couldn't believe what was happening. These humans, these terrifying death world creatures, were being gentle. They were using their incredible strength not to harm, but to save. Back on Harmonia, the Galactic Council received Grail Thune's emergency transmission. Grand Arbiter Vox called an immediate crisis meeting. "The quarantine has failed," Vox announced to the stunned council. "Humans have made contact with one of our observation ships, but that's not the worst news." The screens showed images from the Blue Horizon, humans carrying aliens to safety, humans working tirelessly to provide medical care to species they had never seen before, humans showing concern instead of aggression. "The worst news," continued Vox, "is that they're kind. A predator species that uses its power to protect rather than hunt is more dangerous than we ever imagined. They will not be contained, and now they know they are not alone." 6 months after the rescue, Earth received an official message from the Galactic Council. The aliens wanted to meet. They would send a ship to Earth orbit for diplomatic talks. The news spread worldwide. Humanity was not alone. People celebrated in the streets. Scientists debated what the aliens might look like. Religious leaders talked about what this meant for their faiths. The United Nations chose Peter Johnson as Earth's first ambassador to aliens. Peter was a calm, friendly man who had worked as a diplomat for 30 years. He had settled fights between many countries, but nothing had prepared him for talking to beings from another world. Peter stood in the United Nations building, surrounded by world leaders and news cameras. They all watched as the alien ship landed on the special platform built for this moment. "Remember," the UN secretary told Peter, "you represent all of humanity now. Our future depends on making a good impression." Peter nodded. His hands were sweaty, but his face showed no fear. "I understand." The alien ship was smooth and silver, shaped like a teardrop. A door opened and 3 aliens stepped out. They looked like the ones from the Blue Horizon rescue. Thin bodies, 6 limbs, and large eyes on stalks. They wore flowing robes with strange symbols. Peter stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Welcome to Earth. I am Peter Johnson, chosen to speak for all humans. We come in peace and friendship." The lead alien, Grand Arbiter Vox himself, regarded Peter with all 6 eyes blinking rapidly. Through a translation device, he spoke. "We accept your greeting, human. I am Grand Arbiter Vox of the Galactic Council. We have come to discuss your place in the galactic community." The meeting moved to a large room with a round table. Humans sat on one side, aliens on the other. The room was kept cool for the aliens' comfort. Peter noticed the aliens flinched whenever he moved suddenly. They seemed nervous around him. "We have studied your world," Vox said. "It is unlike any planet in our records. The conditions you consider normal would kill most galactic species." Peter smiled. "We had no idea. To us, Earth is just home." "That is the problem," Vox replied. "You do not understand your own nature. Your bodies evolved to survive extreme conditions. You can endure radiation, pressure, and temperatures that would destroy other life forms. Your strength is many times greater than most sentient species." Peter looked confused. "But we're not that strong. We get hurt easily." "By your standards, perhaps. By galactic standards, you are living weapons. To demonstrate, Vox lifted a metal cup. This water contains minerals that would poison most species in the galaxy, yet your crew drank it without harm on the blue horizon. Peter took the cup and drank it. It tasted like normal water to him. 3 alien assistants gasped in horror. "You see?" Vox said. "You do things without thinking that would kill others. When you smile, you show teeth designed for tearing flesh. When you move, your muscles could break our bones with little effort. Your lungs breathe oxygen levels that would cause most species to burst into flame." Peter tried to process this information. Humans weren't special on Earth. They were just one of many animals. But in the galaxy, they were apparently super beings. "We mean no harm," Peter assured them. "Humans value peace." "Your history suggests otherwise," Vox replied. "You fight constantly among yourselves. If you treated other species the way you treat each other, the galaxy would burn." The aliens presented their terms. Humans could join the galactic community, but with strict rules. Earth ships could not travel beyond their solar system without permission. Humans could not settle on other worlds. Earth could not receive advanced technology. And all human visitors to other planets must wear special suits that limited their strength. "These restrictions are for the safety of all," Vox explained. Peter was shocked. "You're treating us like dangerous animals that need to be caged. We are treating you like the apex predators you are," Vox corrected. "You evolved on a world that should have killed you. Instead, it made you stronger than anyone thought possible. Your bodies can survive almost anywhere. Your minds are quick and aggressive. And most frightening of all, you show kindness to those weaker than you. A predator that protects is still a predator." Peter stood up slowly, noticing how the aliens moved back in fear when he did. "I will take your terms to Earth's leaders, but I must warn you, humans don't like being told what they can't do. It makes us want to do it more." Vox's translator struggled with his next words. "That, Ambassador Johnson, is exactly what terrifies us." Peter returned to Earth with the Council's message. The restrictions felt like an insult to many humans. They hadn't done anything wrong. They had even saved aliens in danger, and now they were being treated like monsters. Earth's response was typically human. If the galaxy thought they were dangerous, they would prove how dangerous they could be when they needed to be. But they would also show how helpful they could be. The aliens would learn that humans were both better and worse than they imagined. The Galactic Council agreed to a small scientific exchange program. 3 alien scientists would visit Earth to learn more about humans. They would study how humans lived on their death world and report back to the Council. Dr. Steve Mason welcomed the aliens to his research station in the Pacific Ocean. The station floated on the water, studying marine life. Steve was a friendly man with a big smile that scared the aliens every time he showed his teeth. "Welcome to Earth Ocean Station 5, Steve said to the aliens. "I'm excited to show you our work here." The 3 aliens, Zor, Plin, and Vala, wore special environmental suits. The suits protected them from Earth's gravity, oxygen, and other dangers. The suits were thick and heavy, making it hard for them to move. "Thank you for hosting us, Dr. Mason," said Zor, the lead scientist. "We are curious about how you survive in this environment." He said the last word like it was something disgusting. Steve laughed. "This station is one of the most comfortable places on Earth. We have good food, nice beds, and amazing views. Tomorrow, I'll take you to see the real challenges. The deep ocean." That night, the aliens stayed in special rooms adjusted to match their home world. They talked among themselves. "The human doesn't understand," said Vala. "This station alone would kill most species. The pressure of the atmosphere, the constant motion on the water, the temperature changes. And did you see how casually they treat water?" added Plin. "They swim in it for fun. It would dissolve our skin in seconds." Exor checked his instruments. Their bodies contain over 60% water. They are partly made of what would kill us. No wonder the Council is afraid. The next morning, Steve showed them the submarine they would use to explore the deep ocean. It was small but sturdy. "This will take us down 3,000 meters, Steve explained. "We'll study the creatures that live under extreme pressure and complete darkness." The aliens looked horrified. "You want us to go down there?" asked Zor, his voice shaking. Don't worry, Steve said, misunderstanding their fear. The submarine is completely safe. It can handle the pressure. But can we? Whispered Plynn. The aliens reluctantly boarded the submarine, their suits now reinforced, with extra protection. Steve and his assistant Kim Lee operated the controls with relaxed confidence. As they descended, the aliens watched the pressure gauges with terror. We are now at 1,000 meters, announced Kim. Pressure outside is 100 times what it is at the surface. And yet you two sit there as if nothing is happening, said Zor in amazement. Steve nodded. Our bodies adjust. We feel the pressure change in our ears, but otherwise we're fine. If my people were exposed to this pressure, they would be crushed instantly, said Vala. That's why we use submarines, Steve said with a smile. At 2,500 meters, disaster struck. A warning light flashed on the control panel. We have a small crack in the outer hull, Kim reported calmly. Nothing serious, but we should return to the surface. As they turned the submarine around, a deep sea current hit them. The small crack widened. Water began to spray into the cabin. Emergency protocols, shouted Steve. Everyone put on breathing gear. He handed special masks to the aliens, then put one on himself. But the aliens couldn't use human breathing equipment with their suits. They began to panic. We're going to die, cried Plynn. Steve looked at the leak, then at the terrified aliens. He made a quick decision. Kim, take us up as fast as safely possible, he ordered. Then he did something that amazed the aliens. He walked to the leak, put his bare hand over it, and held it there. The water was near freezing, the pressure was incredible, but Steve held his position. How are you doing that? Asked Zor. Human skin is pretty tough, Steve said through gritted teeth. And I've been working in cold water for years. I can handle it until we reach safer depth. For 20 minutes, Steve held the leak closed with his bare hand. The water temperature was 2 degrees Celsius. The pressure would have broken most materials in the galaxy. When they finally reached the surface, Steve's hand was red and swollen, but he had saved them all. That night, as the aliens treated Steve's injured hand with their advanced medical technology, they sent an urgent message to the Galactic Council. Humans are more remarkable than we thought, Zor reported. Their physical resilience is beyond anything in our records. The human named Steve Mason held back water pressure that would have crushed our strongest metals, at a temperature that would freeze our blood solid. And he did this to save us, aliens he just met. On Harmonia, Grand Arbiter Vox read the report, with growing concern. It wasn't just the human's strength or endurance that worried him. It was their willingness to use those abilities to help others. A dangerous species that was also kind was the most unpredictable force in the galaxy. We must reconsider our approach, Vox told the Council. These humans, they are not what we expected. They treat conditions that would destroy us as minor inconveniences. They risk their lives for strangers. Perhaps our fear has blinded us to an opportunity. The vote was close, but the Council agreed. The restrictions on humanity would be eased, just a little, just enough to see what these strange, death-world creatures might do if given more freedom. 1 year after the ocean incident, a massive explosion rocked a Galactic Council research station. The station orbited a dangerous star that gave off deadly radiation. Now the station was breaking apart. 30 alien scientists were trapped inside. No rescue team can reach them in time, reported a Council emergency officer. The radiation levels are too high. The station will collapse in hours. Grand Arbiter Vox made a difficult decision. Contact Earth. Ask for their help. On Earth, a special team was assembled quickly. Jack Harris, a former firefighter, led the group of 12 humans. They had been training for space emergencies, though no one expected to use these skills so soon. This will be dangerous, Jack told his team as they boarded their ship. The radiation will be higher than anything we've experienced. Our suits will help, but they can only do so much. The team launched toward the damaged station. When they arrived, they saw the terrible situation. Parts of the station were already breaking off. Radiation alarms on their ship screamed warnings. Jack looked at his team. Remember your training. Move fast, Stay calm. Save everyone you can. They entered the station wearing suits that the aliens considered alarmingly thin for the conditions. Inside, they found chaos. The station's gravity was failing. Fires burned in several sections, and terrified aliens huddled in a central room, many injured. "We're here to help," Jack said through his translator. "We'll get you to safety." The aliens couldn't believe what they were seeing. Humans were walking through radiation that would kill most species instantly. They moved with purpose despite the dangerous conditions. Jack organized the evacuation. Some aliens could walk, but many needed to be carried. Each human took 2 or 3 aliens, carrying them back to the rescue ship. The radiation meters on their suits showed dangerous levels, but they kept working. "How can they survive this?" one alien scientist asked as Jack carried him through a damaged corridor. "We're not exactly comfortable," Jack admitted. "But our bodies can handle more radiation than yours. We'll need treatment later, but we'll live." Within 2 hours, all 30 aliens were safely aboard the rescue ship. The humans had burns from radiation exposure, but none were life-threatening. As they flew away, the station finally collapsed behind them. On Harmonia, the council watched the rescue with amazement. These humans had done the impossible. They had risked their lives for aliens they didn't know. They had treated deadly conditions as challenges to overcome. "We have misjudged them," Fox said to the council. "Yes, humans are dangerous, but not in the way we feared. Their danger lies in their ability to survive what kills us, and their choice to use that ability to help rather than harm." The council voted unanimously. Humans would be offered a new role in the galaxy: emergency responders for disasters too dangerous for other species. In exchange, Earth would receive more freedom to explore and learn. The galaxy would still fear Earth, but now they would also be grateful for it.